I'm gonna go into one of the most important things that many great barbers and stylists forget. So if you're a new barber, this video is gonna be a big advantage. And if you're an advanced barber, you especially could benefit from this one. You really should listen to this entire list, but do not miss the end. The active listening, among other things, this is probably the most important thing you could do between you and your client. Now, a lot of you think you gotta be the best barber in the world to grow or just find success, and that's very far from the truth, and I'm gonna prove it in this video with my acronym. So let's start with F, fade. Find out what the client wants. Be very specific. Use pictures, ask questions, and leave no room for error. Many barbers and stylists assume they already know. And you know what they say about assuming? It makes an ass out of you and me. Now ask the client their name and make sure you use it. Don't be lazy here. Don't be one of these people that are like, I never remember people's names. No, you never went out of your way for anybody because you only care about yourself. If you really care about your clients and you want to build a rapport, the first step is remembering their name. Don't overlook it. Let's move on to A. A stands for adapt. You need to adapt to whatever challenges your canvas present. On the technical side, combing through the hair, looking for colics, growth patterns, thick or thin spots. No client's hair is perfect, so understand what areas are going to be the most challenging and strategize around them before you get started. This way you don't leave them with some hair that's just sticking out somewhere that you could have left longer. Now, adapting is not limited to just the haircut. There's some people out there that just be downright difficult to deal with. And some of you might want to just throw them right out of the shop. I could say this. You never know a person until you've walked a mile in their shoes, and you never really know what people might be dealing with. I view these people as an opportunity because they're used to coming up against resistance, and if you can win them over, they might become one of your biggest supporters. Me, personally, I seek discomfort. I take cold showers. I look for things that are difficult in my life just to do them. When can you actually use your mental strength the most is when you're dealing with something difficult, a difficult client. If you want all your days to be easy, this might not even be the career for you. But if you're smart enough to use your brain, instead of throwing this client out of the shop and losing out on the money, you will move the money from his pocket into your pocket, and it will be an equitable transaction. Deploy the 6 phases and decide on the best approach. As time passes and you start to understand more, you'll come to know where and when to avoid putting in a harsh guideline. Over the years, I've noticed that clients that have really thin hair, you can usually get away with putting in a harsh guideline at the skin level, and it's really easy to remove. However, blending it into the top might present a challenge. So leaving a little more hair there to blend into, that could be a good trick right there. And on the opposite side of that, clients with thick hair might give you a hard time removing the skin line, but it'll be easier to blend it into the top. There's a lot of other stuff I could share in my membership side of things, but this is just to name a few. Take out your cell phone and check for errors. You're gonna spot them easily this way. Use a mirror and get your eyes down to the client's eye level. You can check the edge up there. There's been so many times in my career where I thought my haircut was perfect and I didn't even give it a minute to really check it out and check everything over properly. That's why good lighting is an absolute necessity. And at this point, I actually like to rate my haircuts. I don't say it out loud, obviously, but I make a mental note. Like, how good did I really do here? What could I do to improve? So that on the follow-up visit, I can provide this client with a better service. Deliver and develop. You need to deliver a world-class service, and you need to develop a rapport with your client. Your client is the main attraction. What they like should guide the conversation. Be personable and realize that you are not the main attraction. Focus your attention on others. Having interest in others is irresistible. It will make them like you, and you're going to build a better connection. If you could just stay present during your conversations and remember, it is all about them. What are your tendencies? Do you tend to overtalk? What do you talk about all the time? What is a topic that you might just hijack a conversation and want to talk about it? Let's have some fun with it. Me, personally, it could be golf, or it could be really anything that I really have a lot of knowledge of. Sometimes the way I might hijack a conversation is by telling you about the sponsor of today's video, Booked In. Booked In is my booking app. I've been with them for 3 years. They've been rock solid. Their customer service is great. The app is great. The client does not have to download an app. All my older clients, they can book with ease. And honestly, it's been a very smooth transition going over to Booked In. I was previously with Booksy before that, and I can't say enough good about them. I've hijacked a few conversations, and I think that's why it's important that we grow together. So drop a comment down below, and let's be honest, and let's hear what y'all really like to talk about with your client. I know that you've seen a barber in the shop next to you working, talking the same exact story all day long. I've seen it many times, telling every client who wants to listen, and they never switch it up. You might fall into that pattern, and I'm not even blaming the people who do this. I'm just saying that if we put the focus on the client, then we don't have to worry about making up a new thing to say every time another client sits down. And another funny thing is, like, sometimes I get home, man, my wife wants to talk to me, and I'm just like mentally exhausted. You guys feel me? You feel me what I'm talking about? But anyhow, let's finish this one off. You need to be vigilant and aware to pull this off. You need to find the common ground that you share with the client. Now, you might not want to keep up on current events or sports, but for the sake of the common ground, you might need to expand your horizons. Don't be afraid to ask some deeper questions too. Ask them, what's your biggest struggle this week? How's married life? How are your kids doing at school? What's your biggest hobby? Give them some opportunities to kind of come out and talk. And on the other side of this, there are some clients that do like to just sit there quietly. So if you got a client who's not replying to you and they don't want to say nothing, after you've tried a few times, give them what they want. They don't want to talk. At this point, just back off. But other than that, man, I hope that you guys can use this faded guideline, this faded acronym. And I know some of you guys are probably sitting there like, what is the 6 phases? Like, how do I get involved in that? You guys can join the membership page if you would like. And some of the 6 phases are available to the public versions. So I'll try to list them in the links to this video. With that being said, shout out to my sponsor, Booked In, for providing me with the ability to continue to do this and break grant content to you guys.